ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from New York City. You're watching WCS America. Of course, our live matches from the Challenger League. I'm axeltoss, joined by axslav. Before we continue on with the night, Full Sail University is the official education partner of MLG. If you are interested in video game design, video game production, graphic design, stuff like that, check out fullsail.edu/MLG. Fill in some information about yourself, and then they'll send some information back to you. And then you can find out if Full Sail is the proper fit for you. That being said, we have some developments here today. Of course, we initially said we were going to have the Sen versus Theognis match second after SDC versus Muslim, but Sen did not show up on time or by the scheduled grace period. So Sen Theognis is going to be given a walkover over Sen, a 2-0 walkover. So Theognis will be advancing to the Premier League of Season 2 now. Don't worry, Sen is still in it. Of course, he's going to be dropping to the Challenger League. Of course, the group stages, that is.
Yes.
He's going to be dropping to the group stages where he'll have a second chance at getting into the Premier League. But because he did not show up on time or by the scheduled grace period, Theognis gets to walk over today, which means we're going to be jumping straight into Violet versus Major.
That's right. This is going to be a pretty exciting matchup. Major looks so convincing in his team reverse serves against Ian.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about it is he looks so convincing despite way out macroing his opponents. And we actually saw similar, even when he played against top Korean players like Alive, he out-mac'd them as well. Major is like a guy who just builds units better than almost anyone else there is.
Yeah.
But, one of his weaknesses is sometimes, like versus Ian, the game went on for a long time with about a 60 to 70 food discrepancy. So against Violet, if he can't get that giant food advantage or supply advantage, I guess, or actually control advantage if you're Zerg, all the different terms are. There's Psy for Protoss, supply for Terran, control for Zerg.
Yeah.
If he can't get that giant supply advantage, it's going to be a little bit problematic because Violet is really, really good at both macroing and using his units.
Yeah, of course. Before we get into the match, let's take a look at the brackets really quick to get y'all refreshed up on what's going on right now. Again, this is the bracket stage. The winners of the bracket stage advance to Season 2 Premier League WCS America. So far qualified Apocalypse, Scarlet, Theognis. You're going to see them in Season 2 WCS America Premier League Major Violet coming up. Of course, on the other side of the bracket, we got the Muslim taking out the SDC, Pult over Tasia, Puck over Suppy, and Nesty over Kaposh. So far, we have 7 of 8 players qualified with one match remaining. And as you said, it's going to be Major versus Violet to find out who the last person of the initial 16 players are going to be into the Premier League. Again, all the losers in these brackets, guys, they're still in it. They're still in the Challenger League. They're going to have to play in the group stages. Top 2 from 8 groups of 4 get into Premier League. So still a lot of matches to be played to find out who's going to be in Premier League in Season 2 WCS America. Exciting stuff going on. Some awesome matches so far in the Challenger League. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, Major versus Violet, it's also like, it's an interesting clash of
an American player.
You know exactly, exactly what I'm saying. Where we have an American in Major, or at least he's from Central America, he's technically American. Moving over to Korea, wanting to improve his practice. He has his own reasons. Joining Kespa Team 8, the only non-Korean player on a Kespa Pro team, which is huge. And then versus a player in Violet who's like, you know what, Korea's fun and all, but I'm moving to Texas. And I'm going to eat some barbecue and ride some horses and shoot some guns.
Texas has good barbecue, man.
They do. Of course,
really
I lived in Texas for 21 years. So that's where I was born and raised. You can tell I have a thick Southern Texas accent. A lot of people tell me that. But yeah, so that's a little bit interesting about saying, you know what, I'm going to move to Texas, do my own thing over there with CSN. And the Major's saying he's going to Korea. So is this going to be the decider of what works? this match right here.
Which environment is better, the Texan?
We're going to find out right now at WCS America.
This one game will show it all. Of course, talking about a little more about Major. Major won WCS Mexico 2012. He also got 3rd place in WCS North America versus Violet, who's won his share of events. He's won at MLG Arena before, and he's plays very highly in many events. A top Korean player. Game 1 is going to be on Akalon Waste.
Yes, I'm so excited for this match, guys. Get on Twitter, get on Reddit, get on Team Liquid, talk about these matches. And again, when you tweet, make sure you hashtag WCS. It's WCS. Of course, hashtag again is Shift3. Then you can get your tweet potentially featured on stream, which is an awesome feeling. It actually happened to me a couple days ago. I tweeted during the broadcast, and it got featured. I was pretty happy about that. But you can also tweet at us, at axeltoss and at axslav. And as we said, the first map is going to be Akalon Waste. Hopefully Violet's connection is okay. Looks like his little bar there has pretty much stopped making progress. So we might end up having a remake here. But I'm like really excited for this match. Like looking at the list of matches for today, obviously they're all awesome, but Violet versus Major just really sticks out to me as like this could be a really good match. Like 40 to 50-minute games, really close battles, back and forth.
It could be very exciting. I think it's going to be so dependent on map control. Major's a guy who focuses on macro, and then he loves to try to control the map via drops and via just sending armies everywhere. And Violet's a player who's fast enough to keep up with Major. And that's something that you typically see with a lot of Major games, and it's Major playing versus like someone not quite at Violet's level. Major makes a whole bunch of guys and he just overruns them. Or they catch him off guard with a timing attack. Sometimes it's one of his weaknesses. He doesn't always scout enough for timing attacks. And so it's either like a lopsided game one way or the other. But Violet is a player who can really give Major that late game macro intensity. And it's going to be, if it gets to that point, sparks are going to fly, man.
Yeah. Of course, a little bit more backstory about both of these players and how they got to this point. Violet did awesome in his round of 32 group stage. He defeated Oz 2-0 and then Scarlet 2-1. But then had some visa issues, so couldn't make it to America for the round of 16. So unfortunately, he had to, be walked over there, which is how he got to this point, unable to play in that Group D, which involved, of course, I think it was Polt, Ryung, and Alive.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes. And Ryung and Alive ended up going through that group.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Major. He came through, he was in Premier League round of 32, but he had one of the most difficult groups. Probably the group death, I'm going to be honest. Looking back at those groups, he lost to Hero 0-2, and then he lost to Alive 0-2. So he found himself in the Challenger League, but then he decided, you know what, I don't feel like losing anymore. 2-0 over Xenocider and 2-0 over Ian. So, both these guys are on winning streaks, as weird as it sounds. Of course, Violet 4-1 in his last 5 games, and Major 4-0 in his last 4.
Violet really hasn't showed any weakness in his play, which is something you can't say about many players at all. Violet is just, he's extremely gifted player. Some people, looks like the game.
I'm actually really surprised that it started. Are they both producing workers?
They are.
That was like a 30-minute load screen. I was literally about to Alt F4.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe my computer's frozen.
Should we like Alt F4?
Well,
players, they're patient. That tells a lot about their playstyles too.
It also tells you Violet may be playing StarCraft 2 on a calculator.
Oh, that's true. And he's capable of that too.
He is.
And calculators these days, man.
Graphing ones, TX91 or...
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
TI-87?
There we go. Yeah, TX is like a Terminator
robot. I had my TI-83 in like 4th grade level math, and I was playing just games all the time. Block Dude was a good one. Remember Block Dude, Nick? Did you ever play those games, Nick?
I couldn't understand graphing calculators. You know me and technology. Like,
I couldn't either. That's the point is the games that come on.
I couldn't even figure out how to load a game on it.
That was pretty challenging. See, what was nice about the TI-83 and TI-84 was that it came...
Oh, he's an 81, that's why.
Oh, yeah. I think 83, 84, or 83 plus, or whatever. I got the nice silver one. They actually came with games on them, which is actually pretty funny when you think about it, because it's like, all right, here's your calculator for school. Oh, yeah, it comes with games. It's like, what do you expect kids to do if there's games loaded on the calculator? Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing all class. Of course, that's because I understood the material. So.
Of course.
Kids at home, don't play games in class.
Unless it's StarCraft.
Yeah. Though I don't know how you do that, except Violet might be doing that right now. We just discussed.
You can watch it underneath the table. Do one of those things.
Okay. So, I guess I should introduce the players. Game 1 of this best of 3. It's going to be on Akalon Waste. Very important match here. In the top left-hand location, we have the Red Terran players opening up with the command center first. Representing Team 8 and hailing from Mexico, he is Major. His opponent in the bottom right-hand location, your Red Zerg player. Who's fan favorite, knows a lot of English, hysterical guy. In the chat before the lobby started, I'm like, oh, hey, Violet, what's up? And he's like, what's up, mother, father, gentleman? from the new size one.
Yes.
Made me laugh a little bit. Of course, representing Team Azubu and hailing from Korea, he is Violet. And guys, if you ever have a chance to meet Violet, don't be afraid to go up and say hi.
Last
Shake his hand,
time,
give him a hug.
you know, last time at Violet, he beat me 4-0.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It was the finals of that land in Southern California.
Oh, I remember that, yep.
I did pretty well, though. I took out a couple really, like BC Cutie and, I know, but Violet he's so good, man.
Yep.
He's so good. He's actually, I'm honestly, as much skill as Major has practicing in that with the Kespa teams over there, a teammate.
Yeah.
So many great players there. I mean, like Baby, one of their premier Terrans.
Yes.
Speed.
AKA TY.
Yes.
Sorry. No, no need to apologize.
But yeah, they are insane talent there and insane practice regimen. But he's still up against Violet.
Yeah. Of course, second IPL.
Yes.
IPL 5.
IPL 4 or 5.
The latest one, whatever the latest one was.
And that was a tough tournament, man.
Leenock ended up winning that.
Yes, Violet versus Leenock was the grand finals.
I think Holt got third, if I remember correctly. Or third, fourth. I'm not sure if they had the third place match. Oh, look at this little fanciness.
The SCV's going to protect Marines?
Yeah.
No, he's going to sit there and mine.
Marine's going to be fine.
Yeah, they are. They said, we got this.
Taking
Keep
a couple
mining.
scratches. They'll be fine.
You know, that takes a lot of courage on the SCV's part, though, to continue mining minerals.
When there's a link.
Yeah, they're like right next to you, and the Marines are like, keep working, son.
He's confident.
Yeah.
He trusts his friends with guns. They'll protect him.
It's good to have trust in your army.
So speaking of what all happened there, Violet's just able to scout what his opponent is doing. Lost a few lings, so units lost is going to be in Major's favor, 3-0, 75-0. But again, nothing too game impacting. More importantly, Violet's like, all right, you're taking a fast expansion. I'll go ahead and take a fast third. Mining 100 gas to get speed out, a very safe move. Really going to be focusing on that creep. And we'll have to see what the next move is here from Major. Actually incorporating a Marauder here. A little bit interesting.
This is actually a move that I've seen get more popular lately. Remember, early in Heart of the Swarm, it seemed about 2/3 of Zerg vs. Terran was the Roach Holland. So Terrans have now almost just started. It's not true anymore. Zerg players are playing a lot more diverse now. But it's still, Terrans are getting that first Marauder just to say, okay, you know, is one Marauder getting that? Is he really going to affect my build too much, or how much does it hurt me to add one Marauder in early? Versus how much does it help me if my Hellenes spot more roaches? I'll continue making Marauders. Oh, TI-83 is not
whacking his calculator. Turn back on.
Not quite happening here, man. But yes, so if the Hellenes see more roaches coming, then of course he just continues to make Marauders. But normally, if you see roaches, you have time to make one Marauder before they hit. But if they're hitting you with like 7-8 roaches, we're back in the game now. One Marauder isn't always going to really help that much. So if you already have one out, then you can have 2 when they hit, and that's twice as many Marauders.
Yep. That's a great point. I never really thought of that. Metagame keeps changing. Oh! Hellion trying to be bold and sneak on him, but Lings are there, ready and waiting.
I don't even think he saw the Roach Warren, did he? Because that's what he was looking for, is seeing what buildings there were. Oh, he did. He did. Okay. He got up Hellion. Hellion did his job then. He knows that roaches are around. And that's something Violet does like to use roaches a lot.
Yeah.
And so knowing that roaches are a possibility is really good for Major.
So behind this, Stim is about 60% of the way done. Factory is done as well. Starport is just now being added on. Major first getting the double engineering bay. Of course, not likely to be aggressive until the first few medevacs come out. Could scuttle some Widow Mines across the field in strategic locations, which can be very annoying for a Zerg player. Of course, a place I like is like the high ground area in the middle of the map-ish. You can put High Templars up there, you can put Widow Mines up there.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you won't even notice it that much because you won't
Yeah.
see. Normally, when you walk,
Units are under attack. What do you mean?
and your roaches just keep dying every time they rally across the map. It's so frustrating. Major very good at utilizing those Widow Mines. Violet is getting the range upgrade, so he's going to play a Roach style throughout, or Roach Hydra style, something like that, throughout a good part of the game. Sometimes people just get a few Roaches early, just help control the map, push back Hellions, and scare the Terran. And then they switch over to the speed lean Mutalisk, But the fact that he's getting the upgrade for the roaches really shows he intends to use them throughout the game.
Roach speed immediately started when the layer finishes, as well as the infestation pit, which is a little bit interesting. Now, swarm hosts are a possibility, but I'd be more inclined to think infestors. But again, he went for the plus missile.
Yes.
It's still unclear.
There was a couple Zergs who used to play like just heavy roach infester.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's usually roach hydra, and then later they add in infestors once the bio count gets big, once the medevac count gets big. Fungals are really great against medevacs. But going straight for the infestors before hydras is actually a pretty cool decision. It says, you know what, I'm not going to go for any type of timing attack, but I want to get these infestors early so they have a lot of energy. And if Major tries to do one of those like 2 medevac pushouts and eats a big fungal, all of a sudden the whole map control will switch over to Violet.
Scan get to see the infestation pit. That's actually a really good scan there.
Oh, he sees the roach horn wiggling too.
Oh, that's true.
So he knows he's getting roach speed.
Oh, roach aggression here from Violet. There's a Widowmine there. No Overseer in the area. Because you want to be able to spot those Widowmines. You need an Overseer to do so.
Violet's same with that 4th base, and Major's starting to move out here. He's got a good patch of Widowmines. He's got 1-1 upgrades done. Combat Chill is about to finish. Stim Pack is, of course, already done. And he's going to try to hit before these infestors come out, and he could get a nice, good trade. There are enough roaches. It's really going to come down to if they get some massive Widowmine special.
Violet coming forward. There's the stim from Major trying to engage these roaches. 7 infestors in production. Major charging right for that 4th base. Keep in mind, there are a lot of Widowmines in the ground. Violet having to be careful to stay away from those guys. Oh, you gotta be so careful. A lot of damage being done there by those Widowmines. But the infestors are out now.
I think Violet bought enough time. But he has to go the long way around. There's no rocks. Is he? Yeah, he is gonna save the hatchery.
Oh, Widowmine, medevac's going to the main, but there's 3 spore crawlers there.
Beautiful move by Violet, placing those down.
Oh, and there's the fungal onto the medevacs. Another fungal going down. You know, that's so cool. What happened there was Violet literally placed down 10 spore crawlers at like, I think it was like 11:30 or something.
Knowing that that's when medevacs can become a threat.
Yes.
Now, there's another double medevac drop heading towards his 3rd base on the right side. There's 2 spore crawlers. In fact, there's like 3 spore crawlers there.
I love this. I love it.
Yeah.
Why don't Zergs do that more?
I actually have no idea. I mean, Major could run through them and drop, but it would be a one-way trip.
Yeah.
And making it a risk to do medevac drops is huge. And now he's adding some spines as well, so even if they drop, he still has more time to buy. But while he's distracted on the right side, Major is immobilizing. Unfortunately, he didn't really kill as much creep as he wanted to with those earlier scans, so there's still good vision by Violet.
Yeah, a lot of creep extending out there. There's that scan from Major. Medevac going to try to find an opening in the static defenses of Violet, but with 3 more spores and 5 more spines on the way. What a cool way of playing Zerg.
This is my favorite style of Zerg.
Yeah.
You just mass infestors and sack defense, and that's all you do until you get the hive. Looks like he's actually going in for multi-prong drop in the main and behind the natural.
Medevac in the main did end up dying. Fungal's going to clear up this bio army. And again, this is really interesting because Major loves the drop play.
And it's not working.
And with all this static D, Violet is just completely shutting it down.
I mean, he's trying to do something more over the 3rd here, but again, he killed the spine crawler. It's so easy to replace. He's lost 3 medevacs full of units in the last 30 seconds, and the only damage he's gotten is literally that 1 spine crawler killed. Violet's going to immediately rebuild that. And Violet is up to 8 gas now, and he hasn't lost many units, so he hasn't had to replace gas. Now he's feeling comfortable to go up to Hive Tech, and adding 11 more drones.
Which means potentially more static defenses. Just make nothing but drones, static defenses, and of course you can make some roaches and hydras and infestors if you feel like it. But again, Violet prioritizing keeping that economy safe and doing it well.
And trading efficiently too. Units lost is deeply in Violet's favor right now. The one thing that isn't going perfectly for Violet is the creep spread. Because he's been so defensively minded and building up the infestor count, Major has really been able to keep that creep pushed back pretty well. But again, I don't know how obsessed Violet is with that. Oh, the infestors! Oh,
Widowmine's getting so many good shots, and those Widowmines have been there from the beginning.
He just lost 3 infestors with full energy. I think he lost the 3 that had the most energy in the entire pack. That is actually a very big blow. He's immediately making 4 infestors, knowing how important they are to this composition.
So Major was like double his opponent. Well, units lost is still in favor of Violet, but it's creeping a little bit closer.
Major does not give up with the drop play. Like, what does he think's gonna happen with this drop? Oh, he's pushing in towards the left, though, trying to distract for the drop play to come in and do some damage.
Widowmine scuttling forward. There's an Overseer in this army. Roaches and Hydras trying to engage there, but Major heading toward that 4th base. Meanwhile, the drop's still just chilling up there at the top right. Thought about going in there, but again, Spore Crawler's ready and waiting. 2 more medevacs going to be loaded up. Major trying to find some sort of hole in the defenses of Violet, but again, all the static D it's just not going to happen. I'm wondering what the next step is here for Violet. He has a Spire about to finish. 3-3 about to, underway for the missile and the carapace.
You know, I feel like this is an army you want to add a couple Broodlords into to help force the Terran to come to you and also to deactivate Widowmines. But his Spire is a little bit later than I think he wanted it to be. Oh, another drop heading towards the main here, but is he going to find a hole?
Oh, he's going to try to. Medevac's coming in there, dropping their things, but the Medevac's are going to die in an instant. Marines Mirage getting cleaned up. Meanwhile, attacking these rocks outside his opponent's 4th base, but Violet is there. Look out for the Fungals! Trying to run away, but snagging the 3 Medevacs as well as quite a few Marines and Marauders. Every Medevac is so important. Another Medevac heading to the 3rd base here of Violet, but just unable to find, well,
oh, it's getting
13 HP.
This medevac is got leaning on one edge and sputtering. As soon as the queen throws a couple spines, that's going to fall. His Viking is focusing it down. There goes the medevac.
Funny if Violet put another Spore Crawler back there, just make sure that doesn't happen again.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, the cost efficiency of Violet. Like, if you look at both players have been mining roughly the same on 4 bases. But you can see there, Major's lost 4,000 more resources. Violet has all these, that's basically Violet's bank, is that cost efficiency difference has been the bank of Violet. He's just killed so much more than Major, and he is going for those Broodlords. So we only have 20 food to add in. You could add in 3 Ultralists, but they wouldn't do anything. They just charge in front and get focused on immediately with the Roach Hydra composition. But adding in 5 Broodlords makes a huge difference as far as neutralizing the Widowmines and forcing a Terran to come into your concave.
2 more Medevacs not getting the memo that befell the Medevacs before them. Going to charge into the main once again. Major continuing to try to make this work. 1 Medevac going down, 2 Medevacs going down. All these Marines and Marauders are going to be toast.
Oh, they're killing a couple Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, and that'll might clear the way for future Medevacs.
And Major again positioning. He wants to be aggressive towards his 4th base. Violet adding more Spine Cores. These will buy time, right? So instead of Major running and sniping the hatchery, he has to kill these spines first.
Fungal going down. 9 Broodlords are in production here from Violet, just trying to buy time for those to get out. Plenty of Spine Callers here at this 3rd base.
Medevacs.
Yeah, Medevacs getting Fungals, and Major doesn't really have a response to these Broodlords, Nick.
No, Major is again trading kind of point. The tanks are doing okay against the Hydras, but now, as he said, the Broodlords are coming in.
Like, you gotta have Vikings at this point. Only 1 starport on the field for Major, I believe, with a reactor on it. So making 2 Vikings. Good news is he took that in expansion at the top right. Bad news is Violet, I don't think he's terribly concerned about that, considering he has still a significant bank, of course. He eventually wants to get that up, but how is Major going to stop this force that's coming forward from Violet?
And Violet's reinforcing with 10 Roaches and 15 Hydras, and that's really going to help buffer. So if a lot of Vikings come out, Fungal and Hydras can deal with that as long as the Broodlords do the job of pushing the tanks and mines back, which, of course, they won't have a problem doing. It's a very tank-heavy composition, which is great against Roach Hydra, but it's not just Roach Hydra anymore. By the time he got enough tanks to throw in a Roach Hydra force, Violet has progressed to Broodlords. He's knocking on Major's door. 2
additional starports just now finished, but is it too late? Violet motioning forward with these Broodlords. The Broodlords being shot down at the tanks. Marines trying to stem forward to deal with these, but here come the Infestors with the Fungals. There's a drop finally landing in the 3rd base there. Violet getting some damage done, but can Major hold this frontal assault? It's looking very dire indeed. The Broodlord still doing a ridiculous amount of damage, and Violet charging into his opponent's natural expansion. I don't know what Major does from here.
Major finally had 1 drop that actually got through and did a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's happening when the game is very close to being decided here. He has to find a way to deal with those Broodlords, but with the Hydras underneath him and Infestors, the Infestors still have so much energy.
Yeah.
And that energy, it can prevent Marines from closing the distance and prevent Vikings from dealing with the Broodlords, which are the 2 main threats. Marines can actually deal with Broodlords if they can get under them, but with these Fungals, another massive Fungal chain going down, and I mean, every unit that comes out from Major just gets wow.
GG for Major. Violet, honestly, making that look a little bit easy, honestly.
And you know, I love that style because that's the style Zerg players refuse to do, and I've always wondered why.
The mass static defense.
Yeah, and
with the Roach Hydra.
And one of the things is if you think about it, you're investing all this in static defense, which means you can't really put too much pressure on a Terran. So they're going to have a good economy. and your army's gonna be weaker because you're spinning all stack defense. So Zerg players like, this doesn't make sense. Tyranids have too much, but that's where the infestors are so important. Infestors can be so cost efficient with those fungal growths, and we saw that this series. Fungal growths and spore crawlers just dominating medevac after medevac, and Violet, a beautifully put together build that Major just had no answer for.
That's a game I'm gonna go watch again on youtube.com/officialmlgic2 because I've been playing a lot of Zergs lately. Terran has been a little bit frustrating. Widow Mines, don't get me started, but that was a really cool style from Violet. Now, is that a map dependent thing too?
I think it helps a lot to have a map of choke points because, like I said, the infestors are so key to defense. And if it's a very spread out map, infestors can't defend. I mean, drop defense, you got the spores, but a straight up defense, that's where you need the infestors. It also would be interesting. You might have to change your tech up and tech faster if the Terran starts using more tanks. Although infestors can actually do okay against tanks with infested Terrans and have roaches to buffer. It can be pretty interesting, but that's really what you're worried about.
And you're not really denying that expos either, so you're kind of like allowing the game to go very late, which is interesting to consider.
Yeah.
But well played by Violet in Game 1. Guys, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll be back with Game 2 between Major and Violet. If Violet can take it down, he will be advancing to Premier League Season 2 of WCS America. Stay tuned.